when you understand that you're the black sheep, when you understand who you are in your bloodline, you have to continue to sacrifice for the greater good of what you're creating, what you're building. I was telling my wife today, I don't think you understand what's happening right now. So I wasn't really planning to do a video today. Got a lot of shit going on, but let's talk a little bit about sacrifice. Because I think the world is too pussy right now to really understand what sacrifice means. Sacrifice means you understand there's something bigger at play here. Sacrifice means you're not going to fucking be comfortable with what price you have to pay to achieve the greatness that you want to achieve in life. And I don't know if it was the global shutdown. I don't know if everybody's just a fucking snowflake nowadays. But sometimes people think just waking up once early, one time in that 1 week, in that 1 month, in the entire year, they sacrificed. People really think they're entitled to a level of success. But I want you to bring it back a little bit, okay? I want you to think about if we were cavemen again. Think about what it took to provide shelter for your family. What if you couldn't find a cave? What would you do? Would you sit there and let them suffer? Or would you create some type of structural foundation to keep the wind out, to keep the rain out, to be able to keep as much warmth as possible during the nights, to protect yourself from the animals and the predators? What would you do? If the family was hungry, would you just sit there and let them starve? Or would you say goodbye to that family for a little bit and go on the hunt and decide that you would not come back until you had something to give them so they can eat and survive? Why is it that nowadays, especially you fucking men out there, are so entitled to success that you'd rather spend your days crying that life is not changing fast enough for you than doing something about it? See, I have a newborn right now, second baby girl, and I'm about to take a 3-day trip away from the family. Do I actually want to leave the family? Absolutely not. Do I have to leave the family? Absolutely not. I don't have to leave right now. Everything is great. But is it my duty to leave? The answer is yes. Because what I'm creating for our bloodline requires me to sacrifice what I want in the short term to achieve the long-term goals. And time away from my children, time away from my wife, that stuff sucks. And I'll be in work mode the entire time. And some people can think, well, Phil, you're going out to Miami to go film podcasts, to go do all of this cool stuff, to drive around in Lamborghinis, to do the thing, to live the life. I want you to understand, motherfuckers, like that's work. When you get to enjoy work, that's just a cherry on top, but it's still a hustle, it's still a grind. I not only have to sacrifice being away from the family, my family has to sacrifice not having me for those moments we're never going to get back. That's why whenever I take a trip, every night we're on FaceTime. Because they know I'm there to hustle. They know I'm going out for the kill. They know that I'm going out there and coming back with something. Knowledge. Back when I was coming up, I would always tell my wife, I'm coming back with $1 million idea. I'm coming back with $1 million notepad. Most people would take business trips like I do. They'd fuck off. They'd go get drunk, get high, probably cheat on their fucking wife and do all this stupid shit. And then they'll come back to the same life they've always been living, but now carrying more demons. And that's why their lives never change. Do you guys understand that when you understand that you're the black sheep, when you understand who you are in your bloodline, You have to continue to sacrifice for the greater good of what you're creating, what you're building. I was telling my wife today, I don't think you understand what's happening right now. I don't think you understand who I'm in the process of becoming right now. I'm going to be the best in the game. And that requires constant communication. That requires sacrifice. That requires me to be up with little to no sleep most nights. Not because anybody's putting a gun to my fucking head, but because I've understood what my mission in this life is. And it's to show proof to anybody and everybody what they can accomplish, no matter if they barely graduated high school like me, whether they never went to college like me, whether they were drinking from a young age like me, doing drugs, slanging, doing whatever, all the bad shit that you could possibly do, and still be blessed with the life I have to live today. If I can do that, I am proof to the world that they can do it too. But in order to be that person, guys, I want you to understand, it requires a lot of sacrifice. That requires sacrifice of time with your family. That requires sacrifice with yourself, doing the uncomfortable things, especially on the days that you don't want to. Putting your own pride and ego aside, not snapping on people because you know you have to take the righteous path. There's so much that's required of somebody. That's the tip of the spear in their bloodline. And I want you to understand it's not this like big, crazy thing. It's one day at a time. It's one step at a time. But there's so many fucking people in this world that just talk, that just say they want to do something, that say they want to be this first millionaire in their family, that say that they want to be the person in their family that changes everything. But every day you can see their actions, you can see their decisions, you can see that they don't actually mean it. Because if they did, you would see more. You'd see more action. You'd see more risk. You'd see more going all the fuck in. And I think right now there's just too many fucking snowflakes. Too many talkers. And even the people who don't think they're the ones talking. Yeah, motherfucker, I'm talking about you. People really think that they're doing the best that they can. And every day I just look and watch the weakness of the world. And I'm like, you do realize you're probably more book smart than me. You do realize you have far more going for you than I did or that I am having for myself right now, right? I've got motherfuckers that are hating on me for achieving levels of success right now, being first generation in the United States, and they're fifth and sixth generation in the United States. Why would you hate on somebody else because of that? Talker. See, what happens is when you start leveling up, the weakness of the world, even the people that think they made it, they can tell when there's something inside of you. That means you're lethal. When there's something inside of you that the world hasn't seen yet. And I'm telling you right now, if you're watching this video, you probably have something inside of you that the world hasn't seen yet, but you have to unleash it. And the only way that you're ever going to be able to know that version of you, what to actually unleash, who you're going to unleash, is to sacrifice more. So you can be in this state of being. So you can connect to the self. So you can connect to your higher calling. So your spirit can actually be tapped into and you can feel your driving force. You can't do that when you're complacent. You can't tap into that when you're not sacrificing. You can't tap into that when you're comfortable. And that's why I want you to understand there was a time in this life where you were lethal, even if it was just for a moment. But everybody around you deemed that that was not normal to operate from that place, the sheep of the world, and you chose as a wolf to now wear sheep's clothing. The whole point of changing your life and being the tip of the spear in your bloodline is understanding you are a fucking wolf. That nobody is going to fucking understand the decisions that you make, the sacrifices that you make, why you talk the way that you talk, why you think the way that you think, those motherfuckers are not going to get it. And the snowflakes who think they are it, they're going to be the loudest ones talking shit. And you got to be prepared for that. That's also part of the price you have to pay in your sacrifice. To be great, as I document my own journey, because this calling, I don't know what it is. I go into very deep meditation and deep prayer. I don't know what's calling to me. But something's calling to me for greatness. Something's calling to me to become this tip of the spear for my bloodline. Something's telling me I have to sacrifice everything I thought that I've been to be able to tap into the source, to be able to tap into what it is that's guiding me, what it is that I'm operating on full faith with, that's allowed me to achieve all of these levels in my life. But it requires sacrifice. Most people, all you guys see is the wins. All you guys see is the hyper motivational guy, the guy that gets riled up when I sense weakness in the world. You get glimpses of my operating system, but you don't really see an ounce of my sacrifice. So I want you to really understand that if you want to be great, it's going to require you to sacrifice more than you can even fathom right now. And that we, the ones that are walking this path, we're not concerned about the end state. We're not concerned about the end result because we know we're going to get there. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And if it's not a matter of when, then it's who. Who do I need to be on a daily basis to achieve that? So by the end of my life, I've achieved the goal that I wanted to achieve. For me, I want to carry this weight and this burden for as far as I can possibly go. So the next generations to come don't have to carry it as far because I decided to be a fucking snowflake and give up and say that's enough. Sacrifice. You have to understand you won't even understand it at the time while you're doing it. Sacrifice. Your family won't understand and they'll blame you for not seeing them so much sometimes. They'll blame you for putting work in front of them sometimes. But you have to understand that's what purpose is. You will not understand it at times. They will not understand it at times. My wife did not understand it for a long time. Years. And now she's starting to realize who she's married to. Now she's starting to see this vision, this greatness that I seek on a daily basis. Our lives have changed. We met at Best Buy. We met at a regular 9-to-5 job. And now she's telling me what type of Lamborghini she wants. Now we're talking about the rest of our lives. Really, all there is one more thing to do, which is upgrade to a $3 million mansion. And then after that, there's really nothing more physical that we would want. There's no item or thing that we could really want. Now it's all purpose. Now it's all mission. But it's been that way since before we started making the money. But during that time, my wife didn't understand the plays that I was making. I had to continue to sacrifice my time, my energy, my resources, my comfort of being able to say that I was making all these power moves to my wife, and neither of us knew any entrepreneurs. And I was the first. I'm the first of a lot. Again, tip of the spear. If you're the tip of the spear, people will not get it. And you have to learn how to trust yourself in those moments. So just realize when you are doing things that are outside of the norm, when you're sacrificing while everybody else is staying comfortable, I want you to understand that's an indicator that there's greatness lying dormant in you. And all you have to do is continue to trust that path and follow that path. And not to trust the rest of the sheep in the world, the weakness of the world, the fucking snowflakes out there that will try to bring you down, that will try to challenge you and project onto you because they see that you're coming. They see that you're going after the top spot and they feel challenged by it. But again, pay no mind to the weakness. Continue to sacrifice. And then when it's time to come back home, after you hunt for the family, double down on spending time with the family. Pay it back to the family. It's not that you just take time from them and never replenish it. Whenever I leave my family, I make sure when I come back, I spend even more time with them. I give them even more love. I make up for the time that we lost, but they also understand that that time they lost with me means I've just now evolved to the next level. And over time, your track record will show proof that you can trust you, that your family can trust you. And when you operate from that place every single day, you're mission driven, you're purpose driven. And that's the purpose of sacrifice. To find that version of you, to find that purpose in your life. Who are you willing to sacrifice for? What is the cause? What is the mission? What is your purpose? If you spend every day, every second, asking yourself those questions, thinking on that, and that's how you spend your life, not worried about the end result, what a life you're going to live. I can only dream and hope and wish that everybody at some point in their life, sooner, hopefully, rather than later, gets to experience what it feels like to sacrifice and want to sacrifice, knowing that it's for the greater good, knowing that it's meant for something bigger than us. So I'm going to cut this one short. I just wanted to pop in here because it's 12:21 a.m. at the time of recording. I got a flight to catch tomorrow, lots to prep for, and I still got about an hour left of studying on a new skill set I'm developing before I can hit the rack. Short-term sacrifice, guys. Delayed gratification. That's what it takes to win. These are the things most people are not willing to do to win. What are you willing to do to win for your family? Who are you willing to become? And more importantly, who are you willing to unbecome to provide that life to your family? Remember that the only doorway to be able to achieve everything you ever want in life is that sacrifice. So if you're not, and you're complacent, join the rest of the weakness in the world and step aside for the real ones. The ones that are willing to do whatever it takes to win, to hunt, to provide. But if that's you, it's time to step up. Get some.